Are you wondering if property can make you rich? Let me show you why 2025 is the year to get started. There are 4 reasons that property is one of the best asset classes for wealth building, and let's break them down. First, we've got passive income. Warren Buffett once said that if you don't figure out how to make money whilst you sleep, then you will work until you die. And one of the things that I love about property is passive income. You've worked really hard for your money, it's time to get the money working hard for you. And specifically with boring vanilla buy-to-let properties, it's very much a set it and forget it mentality that you get to have. So you source a great opportunity, get it at a good price, get it through, hopefully do it to a decent standard through refurbishment, and then rent out the property, and then somebody else lives there, treats your house like their home, and pays you on a monthly basis. And as long as you do that right, in the right area, the right property, the right tenant, and the right management agent, it can be a truly passive monthly residual income, which is a real win-win for any investment. Next is leverage. Using other people's money, and OPM, other people's money, is a huge part of property investment. It really actually baffles me when I think about it. So you can buy this asset, which let's face it is pretty bloody expensive. Let's say it's 200,000, and the bank, the lender, will put in 150,000 of that. So you only need to put in 25% of the asset value as a buy-to-let mortgage. Somebody else puts in the 75%, and you get 100% of the capital growth. Like, honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the problem is, as poor people, and I grew up relatively poor, any form of debt was quite negative. You got a credit card, be careful. I've got an overdraft, oh, be careful. A mortgage, you don't own the house, the bank owns the house. All this bullshit that poor people spout out, and I was definitely one of them. The reality is, you've got good debt and bad debt, and utilizing debt in education, assets, marketing, anything that is going to grow your asset base, is an asset, not a liability. And of my portfolio, which is in the multi 8 figures now, a majority of the wealth that I have created has been off the back of other people's money. In this case, banks through mortgages has facilitated my 8-figure net wealth. Linked into this is capital appreciation or capital growth. So I'm sure you've heard of supply versus demand in economics. In general, when there's more demand for a unit, a wedge, a product or service that actually exists, the value goes up. So if 2 people want to buy it, one only exists, they're probably going to bid against that. And then property, we have almost a 2 million unit housing shortage, which means, give or take, there's around 2 million people looking for a property to rent or buy that doesn't exist. And so, yes, there's a lot of stuff happening in the economy, but because of that supply and demand, in general, there's a bidding war for properties that go upwards, not downwards. On top of that, we've got inflation. So inflation, I guess capital appreciation is a form of inflation anyway, but if you think about it, there's 3 key things. So if you think product and service, the cost of labor, especially manual labor, because it's not been the sexy thing to do, especially with the rise of digital media, there's less people doing physical manual labor nowadays. And so because of that, i.e. there's not a lot of supply of them, but the demand of them is quite high, the demand for pay has gone up. So cost of labor has gone up dramatically. Cost of wood gone up dramatically. Cost of bricks gone up dramatically. What are 3 things that are needed in order to build a property? Labor, bricks, and wood. And so because of the cost of those going up, for developers to end up being able to make a profit on their developments, they need to charge more for the exit. And shock horror, either people will pay it, and if they don't, then developers will just sit on the land, and therefore it reduces the supply versus demand as a ratio, and property prices naturally go up anyway. So all developers do will wait for it to go to those prices and then develop more. And so it's this weird cycle where in order for the economy to work, there must be capital appreciation over the long run. It was physically, in fact, to give you an idea, there's never been a 10-year period in almost 1,000 years There's never been a 10-year period where property prices have gone down. Capital appreciation with leverage is your friend. And finally, stability and security. So I'm a big believer that my active income should be active and my passive income should be passive. What I mean by that is, despite the fact I make a decent amount of money, I work really hard. I work a lot of hours in the businesses and I really enjoy it, but also I like earning money. You know, shoot me. I like money. I love money, right? I think it makes the world go round and it facilitates a lot. So I'm willing to exchange my time for money, and I hire people and I delegate. I try to raise my rate, everything like that, to bring in that money. But my passive investments, I actually want them to be passive. I want to set it and forget it. And that's why I really love boring vanilla buy-to-let properties, because once I found the deal, negotiated it, got it all up and running, got the tenant in, it is a hands-free experience. And slowly but surely, the passive income that I'm earning from those properties will take over what I can earn in my active income job or business. And we're doing this for not only ourselves, but our investors as well. So why is 2025 one of the best years that we've seen in a long time to invest in buy-to-let property? Well, number one, it's an inflation hedge. And so I'm not going to deep dive into hedging against inflation in this video. I can do a separate one for you if you'd like. But essentially, investment in general is about the preservation of wealth. And you don't often hear that term nowadays, but that's what investing is. The aim of investing is to preserve your wealth. So if you've got 100,000 in the bank right now and real inflation is at 10%, I'm not talking about advertised inflation, real inflation is about 10%, then the value of that money that you've got in the bank is eroding by 10% a year. In this case, what that would mean is, let's say I've got this cup that is £100,000. If inflation is 10%, in 1 year's time, in order to buy this cup, you would need £110,000. So it's not that your money goes down in your bank, it's that everything else is getting more expensive. And so inflation is that a pound doesn't buy what you could a year ago compared to today. And the example I use is a Freddo's bar that you could have bought for like 5 or 10 pence when I was a kid, well, back in the day. And now it's something like 65 pence, right? So that's inflation happening. And there's loads of examples. So property, along with gold actually, is one of the #1 hedges against inflation. Number two, the move in markets. What's happened with both politics, the economics, the changes in the market, is created massive opportunity. And so actually, if in a word what it's created is fear. So it creates fear in the market. And actually, if you look at articles around property, and in fact, every quarter, if you Googled this, every quarter, what are like the news articles around property, I can near guarantee that over the last 5 years especially, it is fear, 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 fear. In fact, even further, the UK have left the EU. Fear, fear, fear. Property's going to go down. The Conservatives getting in. Labour getting in. Section 21 reform. We've got COVID, Ukraine and Russia, interest rates, inflation going crazy. And every article is negative, 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 negative all the way through. But fear creates opportunity, because what it actually does is a lot of people, usually the people that don't have a fucking clue what they're doing anyway, get out of the market. And it leaves us as the property experts, hopefully you're included within that, to take advantage of the change, because change creates opportunity. Change creates opportunity, and I don't know about you, I want to be somebody as a successful entrepreneur that seeks out change and seeks out this opportunity for us to monetize on. So what are they? Well, because of all of this shift in the market, rents are only going one way. They are going up. It's been up, up, up since COVID. It's crazy, and in general, it goes up anyway. But it's going insane. We're going to see another 5% growth in rents this year. In our areas, we're going to see 5% growth in capital growth as well. And it allows for these speedy opportunities. So the other big change is stamp duty. So there's a pretty sudden change last year around stamp duty, where essentially it's gone up to 5% is the gist of it, even at the lower levels. And it's going to go up again. But this is actually creating a really powerful opportunity for those people that want to move quickly and understand that property is a long-term investment. There is no professional, solid investor that is suddenly going to stop buying property because of the extra few grand of stamp duty. This just doesn't happen. They're more intelligent than that. And they understand that this change creates this little wobble in the market. And especially in the first quarter of 2025, because at the back end of March, April, stamp duty is going up again, is the smart investors are going go, 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 buy, 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 buy as fast as possible so they don't have that added expense. So all of these changes have the market where it's going to go all in for professional investors. And unfortunately, it's the people with money, not fortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, the people with money are going to make money. If you've got 100 grand in the bank right now and you want to take advantage of this, it's going to be in Q1 2025. And we're really going to double down at Aspire, my company, for myself and my investors, and really take advantage to make money. And by the way, if you've got 100K or more and you want to be a part of that journey, put APG, it stands for Aspire Property Group. I'll send you a link and share the details of how you can take advantage. So this is all about the long-term nature of property. You don't wait to buy property, you buy property and wait. If you're you're here because you want to invest in property, otherwise you're probably not watching this far, right? If I could say to you, do you want to invest today or 10 years ago? Anyone with any knowledge of property in the market would say 10 years ago, thank you. If I went, right, let's go back 10 years now, and I said to you, hey, do you want to invest today or 10 years ago? What would you say? You'd say 10 years ago. And the reason you'd say that with any knowledge or research is that there's never been a 10-year period where property prices are going to go down. So let me ask you this question, and answer it in the comments actually. If we could go forward 10 years, so it's 2035 at this point, right? And I said to you, hey, do you want to invest today or 10 years ago in 2025? I can guarantee you'd say, I wish I could go back. I cannot think of a single time I've spoken to an investor that went, I wish I waited 5 to 10 years. Every single person is, I wish I started earlier, because they understand the economics. And you get so many people going, yeah, but have we missed out on the opportunity? Is it really as good as it once was? The answer is no. The reason you wanted to invest 10 years ago is because it was better. 10 years before that, it's better. In the same way, 10 years from now, it gets worse than it is today. But the reason for that is the cost of entry to property investment is going to get higher and higher. Here's a weird prediction for you. I think it's going to be near impossible in 20 years for the average individual to own a property. I think this whole World Economic Forum of own nothing and be happy about it is a very real part of society. What's going to happen from that? Property prices are going to go up to a crazy level. And here's another claim. In 20-25 years, the average property in the UK will be £1 million. Absolutely insane. But that's why we don't wait to buy property. We buy property and wait. And the long-term nature of property is what we want to be taking advantage of. If you're investing in property based on which government's in, which piece of paperwork they use, whether Section 21s exist, what the stamp duty is, and all of that, you're not cut out for investing. Now, the game is, how do we take advantage of these short-term changes to get the best opportunities? And that's where we come in at Aspire. That's what we specialize in. We've done over 1,000 property transactions over the last decade. We've worked with over 1,000 investors. We've bought over 100 properties ourselves. We currently own over 100 buy-to-let properties. And I'd love for you to be a part of that journey. The reality is there's too much opportunity for me to take advantage of. If you just want to get involved with me, and I don't mean loaning me money, I mean you build your portfolio and I will support you to do that with a service around that, put APG in the comments. So you need a minimum of about 100K to invest. Ideally, you've got more because we want to build portfolios for people. If you've got 100 grand and you just want a bit of a strategy session to help you understand where you're at, where you want to get to, and if we can help you do that, put APG in the comments. I'll send you a link and you can book in a free one-to-one strategy session. The reality is the market's changing all the time. The key thing is, how can you position yourself to take advantage? And the reality is, if you're watching this video, very likely the best way for you to position yourself is through your network. I'm a big believer that your network is your net worth. And by the way, if you want to do that with me, great, put APG, I'll send you a link, all of that. But it doesn't need to be with me. Just really build up your network. Make sure you've got professionals around you. And honestly, one final bit of advice is look at who you're taking advice from. I think a lot of people, like you'd never go down the gym and look at the most morbidly obese person and take fitness advice from them. You just wouldn't. Nothing wrong with them, but you wouldn't take advice from somebody like that. So why is it we do that with our finances? Be really careful. The next time you're looking for any form of financial opinion or guidance, what's their net wealth? What's their financial situation? And surround yourself with people that represent who you want to become in that area. And if that's me, you want to stick around the videos, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. I've got loads of what I would consider really valuable content for you coming up over the next few weeks. Hit the like button. And as I said, if you do want to have a chat, APG in the comments, I'll send you a link and we look forward to being a part of your journey.